going on? Are we live?
I think so.
I learned from our last Facebook Live Zoom that I need to like verify and identify. Why don't you give everybody like a what's up we are intro, and I'll check and make sure that people can hear us and see us.
I see it on my Facebook page.
Do you really?
But that's where I saw it last time too.
Let me check and see. What's up, everybody? Can you talk? It's
What's
so
up,
weird
everybody?
not in the same room as you.
Jerry and Rachel Niesman of the Niesman Team at Keller Williams Realty here for another Talk About It Tuesday. No tacos.
No tacos. This is gonna drive me crazy. So hold on a second. I'm in our this is my office, actually. I'm in my office upstairs. Jerry is downstairs. It's so weird not being next to you and like resting my head. Here, I'll have to like rest my head on your virtual shoulder. Why did we decide to separate today? Because I need to share my screen. So do you know how to share screen?
I know how to share screen on your, like, I can't share your screen, but I can do it on mine.
Let's see if I can share screen.
I set it up so that you were able to.
Okay, awesome. Well, I will go ahead and do that. Let's give an intro. Rachel and Jerry Niesman with the Niesman Team at Keller Williams Realty. We are, Jerry, your job during this, we're going to be a little bit backwards today. So normally I am the audience's voice where you guys type real estate questions for Jerry and I read them and I'm able to interact and pitch your questions to him. He's able to answer them and back and forth. Now, Jerry, you have to be our audience's voice for this one. Can you handle it?
Okay.
Do you know how? So what you need to do is you need to have like, you're going to be looking at me, talking to me, but you also need to be looking at the Facebook.
So I don't have the normal stream though. Like it takes me right to my Facebook page.
So you should be able to, can you not be on your phone on Facebook? And like if people put comments on there, let's see.
Oh, I mean, I've got that on my computer right now.
Perfect. So as long as you can see, if you guys have questions about today's topic, our Talk About It Tuesday topic is traveling everywhere on a budget, which is something that's a little, seems not what we usually talk about. But let me tell you, there have been plenty of times that this information has come in useful in our real estate business. We deal with a lot of out-of-state and out-of-country clients who are interested in a property and want to find the least expensive flights in and out of Fort Myers or Southwest Florida and need to, Jerry's always like, go find, this is where they live, this is when they want to come, go and help them, go rescue them to Florida. And I can hop on the internet and find them their best go at it. So I'm going to be talking. Jerry stopped me and asked me if you have questions or need clarifications on anything that I'm saying, because you know me, I can get a little wordy, talk a lot.
No.
It's so weird not having you here. I love you.
Love you too.
And so I'm going to go through a few, I'm going to do flights first, and then I'm going to get into some other travel tricks that we use to travel the world as a family and do it on a budget. So we don't spend a lot of money. We have amazing, wonderful trips. And I wanted to share with our people how we find those deals or how we save money while traveling in hopes that it's useful information for you as well. So Jerry, why don't you made a post today on the Facebook about how travel is our why, or showing our kids the world is our why. Why don't you explain that real quick while I get my first website set up?
Well, so one of the questions that a lot of people I don't know if a lot of people ask, but
I gotta turn on a fan.
Any coaches that you work with, or like it kind of comes from Keller Williams and Gary Keller's like big, you got to know your big why. You got to know the reason why you do what you do, or why you like hitting whatever goals that you set forth for yourself. what that would allow you to do and why you want to do those things. And so our reason is showing our kids the world. So
well, we see it too.
Right. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of the world that we've never seen before. So we want to see the world and we want to show it to our kids. So that is our big reason for working as hard as we do. And, some people may see what we do and think that, oh, it must be nice to be able to just travel all over the place. But you work really hard to allow us to be able to travel all over the place very affordably.
Right.
And I work very hard to make the money to be able to do it.
Yes.
And our vacations, our trips, we work on all of them.
Yes, we do. We do.
We
So
talked
that's
about that while we were on vacation.
Yeah. So there is certainly one secret or tip that isn't applicable to everybody. Is we feel very fortunate that we can work remotely. So most of our business is set up that when we do travel, we're still working while we're on. I'm trying to think. So when we just got back from Aruba in the last day, 2 days ago, and when you have to do all of your documentation before going into the country online, so you're not dealing with papers and germs because of COVID. And I'm happy to answer any questions, or we can answer any questions about traveling during COVID or the pandemic. We didn't travel most of last year, 2020. Our first trip was the week after Christmas. So it's really only been back to travel in the last 3 months or so. We've been to 3 states. We've flown in and out of 3 states and 1 country, Aruba. And we're happy to answer any questions about what it's like to travel during COVID too. Just drop the questions in the little Facebook, like the messages, and Jerry will see it and let us know. But they ask you, you have to report, why are you traveling to Aruba? And one of the options was workcation, like one word. And we actually, at our apartments that we stayed at, there was somebody there who said that he's just kicking around the Caribbean working remotely. And so workcation is kind of how we look at it. It's not necessarily a business. Some trips that we take are business trips. This was not a business trip, but we always work. We always bring our work along with us. We don't have to take off of our business. Usually we'll cement in maybe 1 or 2 activities a day where we're kind of unavailable. And but other than that, we have access to Wi-Fi or internet everywhere we go in the world, and we can work. So first things first, any questions, anything before I get into how to find the best flights? I think that's the biggest. I'm sorry?
There's nothing yet.
Okay, so this is the website I use for to find flights. My first suggestion in terms of finding inexpensive, budget-friendly travel is to open up your mind in terms of where you're flying out of. The bigger the airport you leave from, the less expensive flights are. So I'm going to give you a for instance. So let's take RSW. I'm going to use Southwest Florida because that's where most of our people are. So let's try Southwest Florida, RSW. This right here, if you can see this, can't decide where, click to everywhere. This is why we use Skyscanner. This is the best website we found that will show you the every airport destination in the world. So we want to, if I were planning a trip right now, let's pretend like I'm looking for an end of June trip, because let's find out what's out there. So I would start my search looking in Fort Myers, search to everywhere. So my first big tip for budget-friendly travel is let the affordable flights pick your destinations. If you're open to going everywhere in the world, anywhere in the world, you can use this website and then base it, and you can pretty much see everywhere. and allow the flight. So let's look at June 2021. So my second tip is to search the entire month. Most people know Southwest Airlines has a low flight calendar, or a low fare calendar. Well, this is like a low fare calendar for the entire globe. And so we're going to look at the entire month. We travel with 2 kids, 2 adults, 2 kids. And so make sure you always put in and search for your inexpensive flights with accurate information in this spot, because it can be really frustrating when you have to try and when you find something that's 1 seat available on a flight and you have to go backwards and do, I'm going to move you so it looks like I'm actually looking at the camera sometimes, because I keep looking off camera. So if you actually need 4 seats, so it's going to search in real time. So down here, it says add nearby airports. You can click that if you want to. This isn't applicable if you're searching for everywhere. Nonstop flights only. I suggest not click that, because the more broad your search can be, the cheaper your travel will become. Flexible tickets only. So let's see, search flights. And then I'm going to go, I have this up twice. I'm going to go and search from Fort Lauderdale Airport. So the major airports in Florida are going to be Tampa International, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. If you're in Southwest Florida, like Jerry and I are traveling out of, I always suggest check Fort Lauderdale first. It is about 30 minutes closer than Miami. You don't have to deal with like Miami traffic. In fact, we just flew out of Aruba, flew in and out of Miami for Aruba. And all I could think is I wish I was up in Fort Lauderdale right now. It's really not that far. It's a 2-hour drive. And, but let's check and see the difference and then we'll talk pricing. So I'm going to do Fort Lauderdale to everywhere. I'm going to depart in June 2021. We're going to look at their low fare calendar. I'm going to put my kids' ages in here to get accurate information. I can add nearby airports. It might search Miami as well. So let's go to search flights and let's look at what it looks like. I'm back on Fort Myers now, and you can see that it says flights from the United States and domestic flights in the end of June is going to start at $73, and that is round trip. So now they're going to sort based on country. They're going to go from the cheapest flights available to the more expensive flights, and it's going to go in order. And it's going to search all the bargains. So you can see to go to Puerto Rico, $230, Mexico, $341, Portugal. So let's take a look at what it says over in Fort Lauderdale instead. So flights are going to start at $64 instead of $73, and Puerto Rico is $140 versus $230. So
that's
let's
$90
say,
cheaper.
Yes, right? So it's how much cheaper?
People.
You're talking $90 cheaper times 3 people. It's $360. If we're gonna go for 5 days, then you have to factor in $25 a day for parking. So
because is this per person?
This is per person. Yes.
So
Per
to go
person,
from Puerto Rico,
round trip.
it's $140 a person versus $230. So you're talking $360 cheaper.
But you have to less out, however, say $125 or $150 for parking.
Sure.
So that's the only downside, is a lot of people get rides to and from their local airport. So when you're searching for further out airports, you might need to park your car somewhere. One tip for that is if you are going to, oftentimes you can call around. Many local hotels that are near the airport, like Holiday Inn Airport, Hyatt Regency Airport. If you look at an airport and call them, oftentimes you can park in their parking lot for very cheap, and they'll give you a shuttle back and forth to the airport. It's just a matter of money versus convenience. If I'm going to pay $25 to have my car parked at Fort Lauderdale Airport parking deck, so when I'm done at the end of travel and I can just get in my car and drive home 2 hours, versus $12 to park in 2 miles away and wait for a shuttle, we pretty much always pick the airport shuttle. But if you're really looking to budget it, there are ways to get around that. So let's see, United States, this is from Fort Lauderdale, 4 people. So obviously I don't want to fly in and out of Orlando or Tampa, but here's like Asheville. This is a lovely, lovely option for like a summer vacation. So say we were going to go June, Asheville, North Carolina, go and enjoy the mountains, $66 round trip for 4 people. Now you click on that and it's going to show you their low fare calendar, right? So what you have to do over here is pick the date that you want to leave, and it will show you the cheapest places. Now, does it mean that there's no flights on these other days? No, I mean, there are flights, but they're showing you the lowest fares available for that location. So I know this is the last week of school for the kids. So let's say the 20th of June to the 25th of June to go back looks really inexpensive. So it's showing me right here. Leave on Sunday, June 20th, come back on Friday, June 25th, $93 per person. So 93 times 4, you're looking at just shy of 400 per person, or 400 out the door for 4 people to go on their summer vacation for flights. Let's look at the other countries now. Hold on just a second. Boop. Boop. The little thing is, I don't know how to get rid of it. All right, so let's get rid of Asheville. That was a cute option. Let's collapse the United States and see what it looks like to go internationally. So say you want to travel the world. So right here, you can see Puerto Rico, 140, US Virgin Islands, 154, El Salvador, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, Nicaragua. Here's Aruba, $250. Jamaica, $215. So if you look at all of these compared to Fort Myers, so flying in and out of Fort Myers in the month of June, you can either go places in the United States or Puerto Rico for under $250. But if you're willing to travel the 2 hours that is to go to Fort Lauderdale, you can go how many places? Let's find out.
A lot.
Right? So if you're flexible with where you're going to go, let's see, under 250, I said. So you're talking, we can count the Bahamas in there, 256, 259, we'll go to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oops, I clicked on Peru. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So now you have 20 different countries that you can fly to for under $250 per person. So
I'll be right back.
Okay, so this is going to be your best way to find those flights. Let's look again at like, oh, here's the US Virgin Islands. So it shows you here, say you love nonstop flights. So it'll show you right here what's available. St. Croix sounds amazing for June, nonstop, $172 per person. We're going to click on it. And it's going to show us that calendar again. So down here, you're looking at 113. So the cheapest time to go is at the beginning of the month of June. This is when we would say like, oops, our kids have school. Guess we can't go to St. Croix. We'll go another time. So we look and hunt down the best deals on the best locations and just pull the trigger there. The less specific you can be, the most expensive traveling you can do is the most specific traveling you're requesting. So like I have to leave from Fort Myers. I have to go into Chicago Midway instead of opening it up to Midway and O'Hare. And it has to be from June 13th and I have to return on the 19th. That's going to be your most expensive travel. You can use this website to kind of look those days similar and around. You can use it in that way, but just expect that it's going to be the most expensive travel that you can find. So let's see where else in Fort Lauderdale you can get in and out of for a summertime vacation for affordably. So you can go over here and say the United States, Asheville, New Orleans, New York, North Carolina, Philadelphia. All of these are sub $100 round trip to get in and out of. Washington, D.C., $90 round trip. Charlotte, North Carolina. You can go to all of these places for about $100. Pretty incredible. All right. Yep. Anything, Jerry? Does that make sense? This is all new to you, isn't it?
Yep.
You don't really kick
Because
around.
I don't do any of this. This is your job.
I know. You're busy doing your job and I'm busy doing this. All right.
I make the money, you save the money.
Let's talk about, let's pick a June vacation. All right. Let's do a hypothetical one and we'll build out the rest of the trip.
Hey, real quick.
Yes.
Melanie just said she always compares Skyscanner with another website called justfly.com. And
Yep.
she's found better deals there.
Cool. Yeah, there are, so there are other, when you start getting deep into it, you can find other websites. This is a pretty good like roundabout if you want to shave a couple dollars. Also too, you have to compare things like, oh, well, maybe my flight out of Fort Lauderdale and into Puerto Rico is cheaper on Spirit, but they charge me to pick my seat to bring my luggage, or I can spend on like Southwest and get luggage included. So when you start talking about like shaving those dollars down and going from like $100 to $80, you're gonna find other websites. There's like advanced, and she's absolutely right. But this is a good starting place for people who don't know where to go and what to do.
Yep. And she said they went to Puerto Rico for spring break, and she said they got $92 round trip on Southwest.
Awesome. So here is June. Let's make a hypothetical end of June trip. Hypothetical. So let's see, June 19th to June 23rd. Let's call that good. And that'll be a pretty inexpensive flight that fits within our kids' travel calendar. I could go over here and save $8 per person or $32 to leave on the 15th, but my kids still have school. So I'm going to stick with the 19th through the 23rd and make a hypothetical vacation. So now you're talking. I see JetBlue come up. I love JetBlue. They're one of my favorite airlines. Jerry, who do you like flying with?
I don't know. I feel like we've flown JetBlue like once.
It's always, I think I've done it a couple times, I feel like. All right, so here's some nice flights. Here's what I'm going to look at. So 8:30 in the morning, 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to leave San Juan at 3:30 in the morning and come back at 6:07 a.m. So let me tell you one travel trick that if you're on a budget, Jerry and I are doing this in Denver. We're going to Denver for Easter weekend in a week and a half. We are taking an overnight flight like this. Our kids aren't coming. It's a little bit trickier if you're traveling with small children. If you can book an overnight flight, you can save one night of hotel bill. You just need to check out at 11 a.m. usually on the day that you are flying in the evening. And what we'll do in Denver is like, we'll check out at 11. We'll go to the front desk. We'll ask them to hold our luggage. We'll go and party in Denver and go to Sunday brunch. We're traveling on like at 1 o'clock in the morning on Monday. So we'll go to Sunday brunch. We'll go for a hike. We'll go take in a show if the theaters are open in the evening. And then we'll go collect our luggage and then head to the airport. And you can save an entire night of hotel bill and just sleep on the flight. If it's something that you're comfortable doing, there are different ways that you can be more comfortable on an airplane, but I feel like that's a different segment. You can upgrade with, things like pillows and hammocks for your seat, stuff like that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, so let's talk about hotels. So now I have this hypothetical vacation, right? We're gonna go take our kids to San Juan, Puerto Rico. We're gonna spend $634 on a flight, and we need to go how many days? So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compare hotels. I use hotels.com. And part of the reason I like hotels.com is because it doesn't matter who you use. Hold on, I have to find a frog that's the right way up. It doesn't matter who you use, just make sure you're getting some sort of bonus nights, bonus miles, free money, free nights, whatever. But I use hotels.com because I collect every 11th night is free. They basically, when you use them consistently, here's like what we're using. We'll do a little quick search and see what we can find out. We can go to.
Are you searching monkeys?
Okay, so let's go to San Juan, Puerto Rico. We're gonna go on what days? Let's say the 19th now, June 19th. And then go and leave on, the flight is on the 23rd at 3 a.m., which means I get to check out on the 22nd. It's only 3 nights in a hotel. I have 1 room, 2 adults, 2 kids. Let's give it a search. Oh, hi, Gus.
Hey, you need to give me a
I see
hug
our
in the middle of the
mascots
video.
outside. I'm checking on.
Felt the need to give me a hug in the middle of the video.
Oh, I'm so glad. Agni just said she's the reason that they use hotels.com. I'm obsessed with this website. They're so easy to use. So I always, if you want my best tip in the saving money in the hotels, I always search for free cancellation. I always search for guest rating 8 and up. I don't care about star rating usually. And I always search for Wi-Fi included because we have to have it. We're either going to pay for it as a part of the hotel or they're just going to include it. So part of the reason why I use free cancellation is because if I were to book these San Juan flights right now and say $600 to go to Puerto Rico when the kids get out of school, let's go spend 4 or 5 days exploring San Juan. So then you can come over here, it's going to show it and you can sort it by sun however you want. It's going to sort it automatically based on like who's advertising with them or whatever are like secret prices. So when you use a website a lot, travel website, they'll start giving you discounts and things like that. So like I said, I love hotels.com. Use whoever you love, but use the same company over and over again. I don't like getting backed into specific hotels like Hilton Rewards, Marriott Rewards. I know they all have it, but let's see. Let's just give it a sort. Since everything is guest rating 8 and up, I'm going to do price low to high and find out what it looks like here. Here's a vacation rental, 9 people, 8.2, $426. Always look at the total night out the door. Look at how different this is. $119, but it's $892 for 3 nights. So VRBO and Airbnb and hotels.com, everybody has like an out the door number. When you're shopping for where you're going to stay, make sure you're looking at the out the door number because this is ridiculous. $120 turns into $682. I don't think that's very fair. So look at this one looks nice here. It's a this one looks cute. Excellent reviews. A lot of people have reviewed it. 17% off, $120, $400 for the 3 nights. Free cancellation, and you crack it open and you would book now. So now we are up to $108 per night free cancellation. Here's why I do free cancellation. So as soon as I book flights, I often book, immediately go to hotels.com, or I also use VRBO. And I will go and search there. We like to, another budget-friendly travel tip that I use is we almost always look for a place with a kitchen so you can grocery shop and have cereal and milk and sandwich stuff for lunches. So you don't have to eat out every single meal while you travel. Unless you're a foodie and that's what you love to do. You love to go and eat every single meal out. But I always.
But even if you do, you get the leftovers.
Yes.
So you got a fridge, you got a place to, with a kitchen, you got a fridge, you got a place to warm everything up and reheat it and then eat it again.
So, so then I go, oh, wait, before I go. So I always book as soon as I have a flight. I find the best deal on a hotel room or apartment that fits our needs, and I book it immediately with free cancellation. But I will look in, like, I would say monthly, I'll go and review future reservations and see if better options have come up, either cheaper options or same price, but fits our need more. Like, for example, in Aruba, we booked something 6 months ago when we booked our flights, but I went online about 60 days beforehand and found a place that instead of 1 bedroom with a kitchen and bathroom, it's a 2 bedroom with a kitchen and a bath, 2 bed, 2 bath, which is nice for us to have our kids separate from us since they're older now. They like their own, they like to like sleep in late and we like to go to bed early. And so continue to shop your hotels and housing along the way. And as long as you have free cancellation up to a certain window, you're able to make those adjustments along the way. All right, so next I want to talk about activities and the importance of prioritizing. We talked a little bit about, we just said, oh, don't pay for a kitchen. If your goal is to be a foodie and eat out every single time, spend your money on that. You will feel like you had a more amazing vacation, a more amazing trip if you put the money into the things that you love to do and like scrimp and save on the other things. We, like, for instance, we like to do activities and tours. So I went on to Viator.com. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, Viator.com, and it's where you can find all of the like tours. And so let's go to let's go to San Juan, Puerto Rico. And they're going to show San Juan, and we will spend the money on things that we can't do on our own that we would love to do. But things like walking tours, food tours, a lot of places like, oh, we would be interested. We like delicious food, flavors of Old San Juan food tour. A lot of times if you pop these open and do the research, let's see what's included, what to expect. It tells you, look at this, the itinerary of their food tour. So it tells you where it's going to start. And then it tells you, oh, we're going to go to this restaurant on a walking tour. It goes, then we're going to go to this restaurant and this restaurant. Let me tell you, you can recreate that on your own. You don't have to. You don't get the information. And if you love the backstory, history, information, please pay proper tour guides if that's the information you're looking for. But if you're just looking to eat your way through a city, you can use places like Viator to get ideas for the most popular things to do in that city, and then do your own research and find the companies that you want to pay or find the way to do it on your own. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so a good benefit to that too, like with us, we're vegetarian and all that, and a lot of these tours, when they set them up, they're like pre-arranged menus with the restaurants. So yes, like they don't have the full menu. They don't, for you to choose from, they don't necessarily have the, like, you know, you can call and request certain things and stuff like that. But sometimes, like for us, it's better if we can just go in and pick off the menu. So, right, you know, it's one of the things that you can do to still kind of get the feel for that tour, eat the same restaurants and things like that, but be able to have a little more flexibility in the food that you're eating.
Yes. All right, so let's go and look at an activity that we would pay for. So we like to go do activities. We like to go do things, museums if we're in a city, or natural environments. Now, I would take this one, for instance, and look, you could go to a canyon, go on a river, go to a waterfall adventure. This sounds like something it would be difficult for me to plan and do by myself. Now, I would find out first, I would go and do the research. I would go to my favorite TripAdvisor, and I would pull up their website, tripadvisor.com. Right now, it just defaulted to things to do in Aruba with kids. So I found things, this is how I found, but we're gonna go head over to San Juan and San Juan, Puerto Rico. I'm gonna look at the most popular things to do. And there's all sorts of websites. Each city, if you go and type in the city and free things to do in Fort Myers, free things to do in San Juan, Puerto Rico, free things to do in Aruba, you can pretty much build out a trip very inexpensively. Even places like New York City or Chicago, when you're in big cities, museums have free days. We went to like one night a month, I think, at the Louvre in Paris is like kids get in free, kids under a certain age get in free. We went on that night, like we picked that night on the calendar, and we didn't pay for our kids to go see the Mona Lisa. Because why? We could take that money and apply it to other amazing things that we want to do on that trip or future travel. So never pay for something that you can get for free. So I'm looking here at, so this is something that I couldn't do on my own. This is something that we would definitely pay for. It's like a LED night kayak in a lagoon, guided excursion. I don't own kayaks. I certainly don't own kayaks in Puerto Rico. I don't want to arrange for them on my own. $56 per person. Say we book all four of us, that's $200. And so now we've built out, let's see, our trip was how much? We did $420 on a hotel, $380 on flights, and $200, $1,300 for a 5-day amazing adventure. And like, you know, between filling in the gap, factor in $200 maybe for groceries, a couple $100 for a special meal or two along the way, and that's it. That's all it takes. Let's talk about, go kind of backwards to the, I said free money. Make sure you are taking advantage of some sort of, and this, you know, this maybe Jerry can speak to how it affects our real estate clients in terms of home buying and stuff like that, but responsibly using credit and credit cards. We use a credit card that gets us, we've done the research to get like maximize our miles or money it pays for our travel. And when we travel, it gives us please, when you start traveling internationally, never pay for like international fees. Most countries will charge you a fee for using an American credit card. Make sure you're using a credit card to spend in other countries. They're also set up and designed to know that we're traveling internationally, so it doesn't flag us a lot. It still has it built in to watch our spending habits, and they'll contact us if they have questions, but we get like double miles for airline, double miles for everything. And at the end of the year, we dump it into a trip, or you can have it cover like your Ubers or your flights or whatever. But make sure as you're spending money throughout the year, you're getting free money for your travel expenses. What else? I would say make sure and only recently have we started really saving on the fees at the airlines. If you're traveling with smaller children and they want to call the airline or research the airline's policies, most of the time when you check in and you explain that you're traveling with a child, they'll give you free seating next to each other.
Oh yeah, when they charge you for seat upgrades to sit in the aisle or the window seats and that sort of thing. Yeah. Yes,
normally it's like, oh, pay $20 a seat or $15 a seat to pick your seats. And in your mind, you think, if I don't pay this, then my 4-year-old's going to be sitting in a center seat between two strangers. Please do the research on independent airlines. I know many of them up until a certain age they let you sit by your kid for free. They're not going to stick a 4-year-old next to 2 adult strangers in between 2 adult strangers for a 3-hour-long flight. And then also to save on baggage fees, we have found 2 great products. One, if you go to Amazon and look for packing cubes, they are really incredible, and they come with instructions on how to roll your clothes specifically. And so it makes you be able to carry on instead of checking luggage. And then also to, what are the bags that we use? They're basically
Space
like
bags.
giant Ziploc bags that you can compress the air out of with no device or no machine. I'll find them and link them.
They're called space bags, I think.
Space
They're
bags.
like, yeah, they're like the old school like vacuum bags that you used to have to use a vacuum cleaner to like suck the air out of. But instead of using a vacuum cleaner, you just lay on them and squish the air out.
You like put your clothes in a space bag, and they have a zipper, and you zip it up most of the way, and then you lay on it to compress all the air out of it in your hotel. And it comes to like tiny little strips of clothes. It's crazy.
So you can fit like 2 or 3 of the like carry-on size, like the biggest carry-on size bag you can get. You can fit like probably twice as much stuff into one bag with those, and maybe more.
I guess my only other final tip is I use like Skyscanner to look for flights. I do book through hotels.com, but like even on Viator, do your best to always book directly with the people. So like I'll find the information on Skyscanner for JetBlue, but then I'll go check JetBlue's website to see if the price is still the same on their website instead of a third-party website. Because in our experience, if you do have to cancel or change your plans, it's abundantly easier to do so directly with the people that you're supposed to be traveling with. Instead of booking with Viator, I could come on here.
Same thing with rental cars.
Yes. So like, for instance, it's like carrental.com, or sometimes I use Hotwire to look up car rentals, but I'll use like, let's go Hotwire. Let's look up their car rentals. They compare all of them. Cars, or carrentals.com, I think I use oftentimes. Let's go to San Juan. Let's look at this hypothetical. San Juan, Puerto Rico. Say we wanted to try, and I think it was June 20th through the 25th. Find a car. And so I'm going to use third parties to search, but then I will go to like this one here. Wow, I can't believe how expensive this is. Say this Ace Rent-A-Car. I will now go over to Ace Rent-A-Car and type in the exact same information as I find on here and confirm that everything's the same. Make sure you're not losing any benefits. Like I know here you get, let me see if I could find a, for instance, on hotels.com. So free cancellation. So secret price, 20% off. You could go, I book right through hotels.com, so I can get my 11th night free. But oftentimes they'll have like VIP perks where it's like 2 hours free late checkout, free champagne when you arrive, and they offer like these perks for using them as frequently as we do. Make sure you're not losing anything and you're like comparing apples to apples on the different websites. But I'll go through and cross compare, and I always book direct with them in case it's just much easier in case you have to cancel. What else? Anything else? I think that's it for now. The big thing is flights. The big thing is be flexible with your airports. You can see how Fort Myers is an expensive airport to fly in and out of. It just is. So we often go to, let's see where we would pick in June. So Jamaica, we love $215 to get in and out of Jamaica. It's probably our favorite Caribbean destination that we've been to. We've been several times and adore it every single time. St. Martin, Cayman Islands, so Brazil, Guyana. Here's Spain, 466, France, 468. We, when we booked our flights in and out of Paris, Thanksgiving of 2019, our flights were $300 per person. It was cheaper than like the month prior to. We had to fly to Reno, Nevada, or to like California, that area. And it was like 1.5 times the amount that we paid to take a nonstop flight in and out of Florida all the way to Paris. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. Anything else? Anything that you can think of? Anything that you like, especially with our trip that, or with our travels, that you want me to explain how I make the magic happen? Look for free stuff.
I don't think so.
Be flexible with your destinations and dates. Do a bunch of research. I do my research when I think I used to once upon a time spend my evenings as I'm falling asleep on Pinterest looking at recipes. I now like use TripAdvisor and places like Viator and TripAdvisors to find incredible, affordable destinations. Is that it?
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, you know, the one that you didn't talk about, because there's really nothing on there right now, probably. But like our China trip that we took, we found on Groupon Travel.
Yes. So let's talk tours a little bit. So let's go to Groupon Travel. All right.
I know we
So
got to
once
jump off
upon
here
a
quick,
time, Groupon used to have all-inclusive travel packages. And let's see, trips and vacations. So there's not really, as soon as COVID hit, they all fell off. Where it's like air inclusive travel. Let me see who I, all right, here is like, for instance, a tour package. This is who we just booked our Christmas trip with. It's Exotica. There's all sorts of stuff for you to read through, free cancellations on bookings when you book by a certain date. So if you decide not to go, you put a deposit on the trip and then pay the remainder off 60 days prior to travel. So it's kind of nice because you don't need all the money up front. But let's look at they usually have their, what are their specials of the week? Okay, so here is the deal of the week. Peru 10 days, sea trip. So here's a travel company, a tour company that you can find discounted. This is flying out of Miami, so it would work for our family. And this is Peru, 10 days, 4 cities. It includes all flights, all accommodations, all transfers, activities, and your breakfast. So you pay for lunch and dinner. It's $1,000 Miami. We're gonna go to, just keep it on classic, which is gonna mean your like average hotel. It's not gonna be anything special, 4 people. Availability until December 2022. And it'll show you the itinerary. So day 1, night on board. It'll show you what you're doing in Lima, what you can expect. If you can get on board with these group tours, it's totally worth it. We did a 5-city tour of China in 2019. It was out the door under what, 1,800 per person.
Yeah, I think it was total, including visas and everything. I think we were like, even our all of our food and everything, when we added up the last little things and souvenirs and everything, I think we were out the door under $8,000.
Yeah.
For 10 days.
For 10 days, I'm talking transportation between 5 different cities, tickets to the bullet train in China, flying into from Florida into Beijing, flying out of Shanghai, so that's expensive, different destinations, a 24-hour day, 10 days in a row of an English speaking tour guide that, like, if we wanted to at 1 a.m. call and say, hey, my kid's sick, how do I get this kind of medicine? They'll walk you to the pharmacy and translate for you. So like full access to English speaking tour guides. It included all of the entrances to temples, entrances to museums, breakfast at the hotels every day, tickets to shows at night, but it's everything. They're usually pretty all-inclusive. The downside is going to be in COVID time, we're hoping that this will clear up. But so you are traveling with other people where it's like the same people bought the same tour package and they're staying in the same hotel. They're on their own. Like we did a tour of China with other American and Canadian families specifically. So we all flew. There were other kids on our bus that our kids could interact with. But you are like, you're seeing the same people for 10 days. And that might be something that you don't want to do. And it also doesn't offer the flexibility. For how many days were we like, God, we just need to find a shopping mall and find, oh, I wanted warmer clothes. I was freezing. I didn't bring warm enough clothes. Like, oh, maybe we can pop into a shopping center and find a coat. Like, no, you have an itinerary. You have to be, it was a whirlwind of, we'll meet you at breakfast at 6 a.m. and then we'll drop you off at the end of the night after seeing 7 things. Here's your new hotel at 10 p.m. We'll see you at 6 o'clock in the morning again. And you have to unpack and do everything. Sure, there are tours that aren't that like intensive, but when you do, you don't have the flexibility. So like say for instance, this one to Machu Picchu, you're going to have breakfast at the hotel. You're going to go to Machu Picchu. You're going to have to be at a train station to board the expedition train at a specific time with all the other people that you are staying with at the hotel. You're going to arrive and you're going to go here, then you're going to do this, and then you're going to do that. And so it's very specific. But if you can get on board with stuff like this, my goodness, like 10 days for $4,000 for 4 people to go on a 10-day vacation, including flights, transfers, hotels, activities, and food, highly recommend. And I will share with people as I see more websites come up and offer these big tour trips. It's been a weird couple of years. It's been a weird year and a half for travel, right? It's just,
Yep.
So we'll see. But I think that's it. I think that's it for now. And yeah, have fun, travel the world, be good to each other. Always do the research on whatever place you're traveling to. It's another discussion, but make sure you bring toilet paper to China because they don't have it in bathrooms. Make sure you have all the information you need on the places that you're traveling to so you're respectful of cultures. And that's it. This was fun.
Yes, it was.
Sorry, I know I just talk about it a lot.
All right. Well, thanks for all the information. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yes. Please always send me a private message if you want me to like do the search for you. If you're like, I want to
hit
go
us
somewhere.
up if you got questions, travel or real estate related.
Yes, we also do that too, in between all of it. So
thanks for watching, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
What are we talking about next week?
I don't know.
Something.
That's your job.
Figure it out.
All right. See you later.
Bye,
Bye
guys.
everybody.